Stand with, join me with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Take a hold of it. So in front of us we have tonight's agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
I'll second that. Do we have any additions? Right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. We'll move on this agenda. Approving minutes from our prior meeting. I have a motion to approve our minutes from our previous meeting.
I move we accept the minutes from last month's meeting.
Thank you, Paul.
I'll second.
Thank you, Bennett. Any discussion on those minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting minutes are approved. District contributions and donations. We have, were there any others, Elizabeth? No, just these. Networks for Good, Ashley Allsted for $500. Advanced Biology, Ottertail Lions Bridge Ladies for $60 for students' needs. I have a motion to accept those donations.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Bennett. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Sean. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Consent items.
Yeah, you've got about eight items underneath there. The policy, MSBA policy 800 series, the first reading, also the 900 series. We've got a resignation of a custodian, hired a special ed teacher, Amanda Lanker, retirement of a bus driver. We've got a leave of absence for a teacher, and a long-term sub for that teacher. We also have a leave of absence for the 26-27 school year, and then the resignation of our esports advisor.
Do I have a motion to accept those consent items?
I'll move to accept the consent items.
Thank you, Sean. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sheila. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Those consent items carried. Department and administrative reports. Connor, you are up.
That comes over to me. Well, let's see. Basketball, our team started out a little rough. They picked up a couple wins here in the last couple of weeks. They have a couple more weeks left of the season before playoffs. Looking like we should have a couple more good games this year. But, yeah. Wrestling, we have one girl from Henning going to state so far. And boys sections for wrestling will be next Friday. The mock trial team finished their regular season with a 4-0. So we are the third highest team in the state of Minnesota right now. And we have our playoff tournament, whatever you call it, on Thursday in Fergus, and if we win, we will go to state. BPA had Region 7 competitions. It was a huge success. They have 24 students now advancing to the state, which will take place on March 5th to the 7th. Snowball was last month. Students seem to enjoy our activities we put on. We tried out a couple different ones. Everything went over pretty well. We did get snowed out on Friday. Snow week, snow Friday. But we did get snowed out, so we're hoping to reschedule that activity for sometime next month or two. The dance was pretty good. We had about 70 to 75 kids attend. We charged $5 to get in and $2 for pop, and we still ended up losing $300.
How does that work?
The DJ cost that much.
Was it good?
I did not bet. Esports has their last week of regular season. We have Damien and Ford, who their match this week will determine if they have a chance to go to state, so we're hoping they can pull that off. Speech competed at DGF meet last Saturday. They got 4th overall with several students placing. They have no meet this week, but we'll have 3 meets next week. They got junior high on Tuesday and Thursday, and 7 through 12 on Saturday in Lawrence. Knowledge Bowl, we've been kind of on the back burner for a while, but we got a meet coming up here in 2 weeks. And then I think that is our last regular season one, and after that we have a playoff meet or whatever. The house out back, we haven't been doing much, it's been pretty cold. Still waiting on a couple of the contractors to get electrical plumbing stuff done, but we're hoping to get going on that here next couple weeks again. That's about all I got.
Any questions for Connor? Thank you, Connor. Jenny, do we have an update from, oh, back there. Sorry, didn't see you, Jenny.
All right, so just kind of a rundown. December, we had our craft fair, 55 and 71 spots. Down from last year for the amount of vendors actually attended, but better attended, like people through the door, so that was really good. $300 to BPA, $500 to mock trial there in the doors the whole time, and then the rest was split between summer rec and then Battle Athletics that did the doors morning and night. February, March, April, Lego Club has been meeting once a month on Mondays. Today was kind of a crazy day. I think there was double booked in here, double booked over there, so they were in the cafeteria, but we figured it out. We have 2 different people offering some piano lessons, one for beginners, so that was kind of a new thing. We have online courses available right now, starting in March. We're looking for CPR and spring first aid dates. Just handed out driver's training information today to the 8th, 9th, and 10th graders. And we are looking for help in the after school program on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Amanda is taking a full-time position, and so we're looking for help in there. So we are going to be posting that. I posted it internally to students and stuff like that, and so now we're going to post it a little wider, hoping that we can get some help in there. That was kind of the deal when we brought in the 3-year-olds, is they would have help. So we definitely are looking for help in that area, the amount of kids that she has on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have secured first week here in church for the summer play musical, which was really exciting. And we're super willing and happy to help with that since there's already kids over there. We thought that would be a nice way to kind of interact and hopefully get more kids to participate since they're at First Lutheran. We've secured the YMCA to do swimming at Glendalough. And I'm just starting to look at the summer programming. That goes up real quick. Questions from you guys?
What's the age break off, I guess, for the after-school program? 16 older, 18 older? For helping.
For helping, yeah. I would say 16 would be kind of my ideal, older, 16 or older. Yeah, I opened it up starting internally to the 10th and 12th graders. Just seeing if anyone was interested in just doing a couple hours sometimes. And then we'll now open it up to anybody.
Have you had any interest?
No, I have not yet.
Okay.
Like, I've had people the girls that have been helping me with like subbing, if we needed a sub here and there, but not for like that kind of commitment.
Okay.
So I was hoping, but I don't know when you don't have it yet.
How are we pushing out the community ed courses, like for people to know?
So it's online, and then I'm going to be posting, like pushing it through Skillshare, and with Skillshare, it goes through all the social media posts too.
I've got a question on the advisory committee. We haven't met in a while, and
Yeah.
do we have a time frame, maybe?
I don't know too much about that, so I would
Okay.
very much be willing to do that, but
Yeah,
I
and,
have very little information.
I know we probably haven't since COVID and as we go through, but we probably usually do it, before the stuff goes out in the fall.
Okay,
So,
well, okay.
But maybe sometime this spring, just to have
Just to start, like,
get together, know
going.
where we're going to meet, and then.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no information on that, so even just connecting with
Okay,
you and
let's
just
just do that.
seeing what you guys have done in the past.
Okay.
And I'd be willing.
That's it.
Peaks ever reach out for dog training? Because you mentioned it last April.
No,
So you might want to put
Yeah.
that on your.
that would be awesome. Because I think that's one that they had pre-COVID that we have not really brought back. I think that would be a good one.
What you do for, from like getting a paper in people's hands perspective, like do we send them the offers with the kids at
Yes,
school?
as much as if it's school related, anything that's happening here, yes.
Okay.
When it's the adult wise, then it's just coming from social media, I guess, is the biggest thing, and on the website.
Is that maybe we could look into, I don't know, did we ever do mailers of the community ed for adults? Long time ago? Is that
Yeah,
something
not
that's-
in my year and a half, we have not.
Sure.
Yeah.
Would the paper let us put something in for free? Just a little.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say no.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah.
You know what I heard from, before we
gotta
paid
know who's
for
armed.
the staff there part,
Yeah.
I would say no.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that statement.
Yeah. Which I mean.
Maybe we can put in the board minutes, just make sure.
Yeah, that
go to
would-
the-
that would be-
Yeah, go to the website, check out
Yeah.
what we have for community.
Do it, it's posted, absolutely.
Like I
Yeah.
said, just a little feedback of adults maybe not knowing what's
Right.
the offering is that we have for community.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
And maybe some of them don't have social media, don't do social media, so they probably aren't seeing it that way. So, I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
Any other questions for Jenny? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. All right, Mr. Severson.
All right, thank you. Couple of things here first. January 14th, we had a staff lunch provided, so thank you to the anonymous donor or group of donors who did that. It was very much appreciated. Connor talked about Snowball Week. Felt Snowball Week was an absolute success. We celebrated Para Week a couple weeks ago, so just wonderful to acknowledge the wonderful work that they do. We're very blessed with paras that help our kids here and they just do a great job. Connor talked about mock trial regions on Thursday, so excited about that. BPA, Connor mentioned as well, had a great experience and many kids moving on. We had elementary conferences last week, great attendance. Our families are very involved in their students' education, and that is a wonderful thing. Thanks to Bethel Church for providing lunch for our staff on that evening. The 25-26 schedule is being worked on. Ms. Denbrook and myself have met multiple times, shared some things with our site leadership team, and we continue to work on that and look at it to see how we can improve. We always want to improve from year to year. So we continue to have monthly data meetings talking about our test scores, classroom data, behavioral data, attendance data, all those things that are part of our BAR program. I Love to Read Month is happening right now. The I Love to Read Committee put that together. There's some dress-up days at the beginning of the month. A book fair obviously going on. I did a rod theme for the month of February, so they have a bulletin board over there where classrooms are moving along in the race. It's also Black History Month, so we have shared some resources for staff in that aspect. We had our spelling bee. Thaddeus Armendariz was our spelling bee winner. Thank you to Amanda Callahan for managing the spelling bee and doing a wonderful job with that. I continue to go around and have classroom observations. It is, and I've shared this multiple times, but we have amazing teachers and there are amazing things that happen on a daily basis in our classrooms. They are learning things that, with the science of reading and letters training, and watching them implement that into the classroom as well is just, it's a blessing. It's really fun to see. We continue to have construction design team meetings. Our latest was about the fitness center and getting that all organized and figuring out the layout and what equipment we need. We hosted the EDA luncheon. That was a wonderful event. Great to have community engagement and involvement in our building, and I was able to present there. We had M-State come into the building and present to our juniors and seniors, sharing their new Blue and Gold Scholarship Program. So wonderful opportunities for our kids. On March 2nd, we are collaborating with Henning. Henning received a generous donation to have Kevin Hines come and speak. He shares a story of hope, healing, and recovery while teaching people of all ages the art of wellness and the ability to survive pain with true resilience. So we will be hosting that in our auditorium that morning for grades 6 through 12. Two different presentations are 6 through 8 in the morning, and then 9 through 12, well, both were in the morning, I guess. 6 through 8 first, and then 9 through 12 second. I'm finishing up my one-on-one para reviews and meetings, informational meetings. That's been very positive. A few of the highlights, what they enjoy most about their work is the kids. That's always a great thing. They love their job, they feel challenged, so that's been wonderful. And some feedback we received that we're moving forward with is they talked a lot about professional growth and development, so we've started our para PLCs where Mrs. Hubert, Annie is leading that, and once a month they will get together and meet after school and do some professional learning together. We also have a long-term sub in the building right now, so Malia Brandner has been in the building and helping out for Mr. Olson's classroom, so that's been great. Any questions about that you guys may have before you ask me to present about our process when we get bowling reports last meeting? So I'll do that next, but as I pass this out, any questions that you guys have for me?
Pete, as part of my report, we'll just have you give me the updates if that's okay.
So just put together what our process is. I know I shared a letter with you as well for what that looks like, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows we want every student to feel safe at school. They deserve that. We've built a comprehensive system that addresses bullying, and from that initial report all the way through long-term support and resolution. So it's a three-phase approach that I will share with you today. So before we even start, we have to make sure we understand what is bullying. And there's multiple things that come into play. So it involves a real or perceived imbalance of power, an intent to harm, a repetitive nature, and we understand that these core components are crucial for accurate identification and intervention. So it needs to have all of those things, and it needs to impede on their educational experience to be classified as bullying. So the reporting process is phase one. When we receive a report, we ask for some information. They can submit reports digitally. They can submit reports to our student support team or to teachers, and then we will begin this process. So there isn't just one way that they have to report a bullying incident. They can report it to multiple items. So phase two, the investigation process is very in-depth. Once the report is received, we get on it, and it's not a single person. It is a team approach. It's very collaborative. We have principal, student support team, and our counselor, our social worker, our dean of students, and we have a wonderful relationship with local law enforcement. So if they need to be involved, we contact them right away, and they are engaged. They'll come to the school, sit down, talk to me, go over all the things together, and it's a very collaborative approach. So once we have all of that information, now we start the investigation stuff. So we need to know the location, how did it happen, was it electronic, was it not electronic, was there a show of imbalance of power, did it happen at school, was it retaliation, does it interfere with their educational opportunities. All of those things come into play. And with that investigation, then it's classified as bullying or not bullying. Regardless of what that is, you will see there's family notification that happens, there's documentation that we keep, there's immediate response that maybe there's some type of intervention we have to put in place, some type of disciplinary action that has to happen. So those things continue to go through as well. But regardless, the student that did report the bullying gets put on a support plan to help us prevent and monitor anything from happening further. And what happens there is they sit down with a trusted adult in our building. They map out hot spots where they feel vulnerable, where they feel these things are happening and going on. We create specific interventions for each of those kids and the concern, what that might look like, how we can help it. Maybe it's moving them in the classroom. Maybe it's changing their passing time, where they move throughout the building. It can be a number of things. We give them a system to report on a daily basis where they feel comfortable and are able to do that with a trusted adult. And then there's also long-term monitoring. So we have one of our staff members do check-ins with them. They check in with them sometimes weekly, sometimes on an every 2-week basis, just to continue to get feedback and input from those students. Is this continuing? Is it resolved? Are there still a couple of things that are happening that we can support you with? So that's that long-term monitoring plan. So I talked about what are some prevention plan interventions that can come into place. So like I said, environmental adjustments in the elementary, maybe they're always in the front of the line, or maybe they're always in the back of the line, or different seating, or they have hand signals at the elementary sometimes, or even in the secondary, where they'll give a hand signal to the teacher that gives them some information that they need to know to help, or lets them know that the kid maybe just needs a break and needs to step out of the classroom for a little bit. So lots of different things that we can do in that. One important note that I put in there is if there is confirmed a feeling of bullying or there's an imbalance of power, then peer mediation would not be one of those interventions that we do. If we can repair relationships with kids together, we do try to do that. But if that feeling of imbalance of power is there, we avoid it. So our current prevention plan status, we currently have 6 students on prevention plans. 1 student's monitoring has successfully ended, which brings us to 5. And each of them are supported by regular check-ins, and we continue to make sure they feel safe and secure in our building. So as we move forward here, comprehensive safety net, we have immediate action, we do a thorough investigation, and then we have ongoing protection for those students. Now, investigation is something I didn't touch on very much, but when we do those investigations, we have interviews of students that are involved or potentially eyewitnesses or were close to the situation. We connect with teachers who are the ones in the classrooms and get their account of the incidents. And then we also review video and look at video as much as possible. And then based upon video, who are other people that were maybe in the area or saw something, and talk with them as well. Once again, not always just one person doing the investigation. A lot of the information shared together as a team to discuss, to go over, to work through. So there's different perspectives and views and ideas. And as I stated from the beginning, if necessary, law enforcement is involved right from the get-go, and they work with us very collaboratively. So as a school, what do we do? To ensure we're generating positive citizens into our community, we have our PBIS program, Positive Behavior Interventions and Support Program, which we call Better Proud, where they are getting taught in the classroom the characteristics that we want to see here in our building. Respect, kindness, tolerance, all of those things. And it's a monthly theme each month that they're taught, and then we celebrate those things at the end of the month at the elementary school for winners who have demonstrated those qualities in a great way. We have our Rise Above Hurtful Language and Hate initiative, where we had a third-party consultant come in, train our staff on how are ways that we can address the students when we hear things that aren't okay, right? Maybe some hateful language or some microaggression. And we all have good intentions when we hear those things to talk to kids about it or to stop it, but we want to make sure we have good impact as well. So that training empowers the staff to be able to know what are some of the phrases that they can use and maybe give a little bit more confidence on making that impact when they see those things. And Janelle has done a wonderful job with that committee, and there's been some staff development, and she has a newsletter that she sends out as well. So she's done a great job with that and keeping our staff up to speed. We also have our BAR program, Building Assets and Reducing Risks. We are in year 2 with this. This is a very intentional approach to building on students' strengths, but also creating individual action plans for our students. Our teachers meet on a weekly basis to discuss the different students in each grade level. Each student is specifically talked about, and each student, the team, bless you, puts together goals for those students and then action plans on how we can best support them and make sure that their experience here in Battle Lake is So those 3 pillars are kind of the synergy in action to help us create the quality students that we want to graduate here from Battle Lake and be excellent, productive citizens in our community. Some of the data that we look at for BAR to help us determine the effectiveness, what is our culture like in our building, what are some things that we can improve at, are, like I talked about, behavior data and attendance data. And our elementary behavior referrals, you can see from year to year, this is our trend line, is on its way down at this point. We know, like we've talked about before, over half of the behavior referrals that are happening in the elementary are on the playground. We are actively working to try to make that a better space where there's less behavior referrals. We have a playground committee that we put together. We've created some new zones for coverage and monitoring, but that is we know our pain point in the elementary playground. Here is our high school behavior referrals. So as you can see, a significant decrease there. I attribute that to a ton of that to BAR and just our teachers building relationships with kids and knowing the kids and them feeling, I think, more supported and engaged as well.
Ryan, when you say high school, 7 through 12?
7 through 12, yep, thank you for clarifying. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Severson?
I think I asked you last meeting, but so this whole investigation process, even if a bullying report is unfounded or not, you continue on and do this whole process, right?
Correct. Yep. And have a wonderful support team that helps through it every step of the way.
The draft that you've got, the number for 25-26 is year to date, is that right?
To date, correct. Yep.
Ryan, you mentioned video, like how good is our video coverage across the whole grounds?
It's good. Yeah, it's good. And especially with this construction project, we were able to upgrade cameras, add more cameras, so we have very good coverage. And high quality cameras too.
If we have a student, Bobby, let's say, one day's picking on Johnny, next day's picking on Sally, next day's like, not the same person, but multiple people, how do we deal with that? Because that doesn't meet the bullying
Correct,
definition.
that's a student being mean, right? And we need to figure out how can we how can we teach them to behave properly? And if they're, you know, if they're being mean or doing those things, there's individual consequences for that, or we have some restitution practices that they may go through as well.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Severson.
Thank you.
Mr. Nudell.
Yeah, a couple updates. February 26th is our college and career fair. Thanks to Janelle and Estelle and Ryan for getting that all put together. We're looking forward to that. You heard from Mr. Severson last Thursday. We have the EDA luncheon here. Close to 70 people in our building. Mr. Severson did a great job presenting to all of those business partners and those business representatives in our building about our outstanding test scores. And that's a tribute to our people sitting over here, our staff, and some in the back too that do a great job with kids. You left a great impression. A lot of comments after the EDA luncheon about those test scores and how well we're doing with kids. So staff feel good about that. Our math and reading scores are at the top, and our science is right there at the top. So thank you for presenting that, Mr. Severson, talking about our building project. Speaking of our building project, we're going to have to start looking at a little bit of a phase 3, what we're going to do when we finish up this phase. So I know people will talk a little bit about that, but that'll be a good retreat topic for us as well. Lots of positive feedback with some activities in the weekends and at nights with our commons out front, something everybody's really, really proud of, and lots of good feedback with that. So as we get ready for a retreat, we'll talk about that construction piece and other things that we have to look forward to. We, of course, have a 5 o'clock meeting tonight, and that will be on that agenda as well. That's what I have. Pete, is there anything you want to add with deconstruction?
I guess kind of what's going on now is when we did this process, we didn't go into a lot of detail about what goes in these spaces. I never dreamed it would be this much work to figure it out now. You know, the reason that happens is they don't want you to go over bid, right? You know, you don't want to spend money down engineering stuff. So we did have some placeholders in the budget for those things. You know, furniture being one. You know, luckily enough, by doing some of the install ourselves, you know, beating on some doors, you know, this new media center furniture wasn't in the project, but it fit the budget, you know. So we're able to stretch that a little bit. Some of the things we're looking at right now are equipment for our shops, working with the teachers, you know, what are their needs. That's the budget.
Which a testament to Mr. Meisner, we had a laser engraver in the budget. That's one of the pieces of equipment. He got a grant, so now we got a laser engraver for free. So
that's coming this week.
Yep.
By the way. As well as some woodworking equipment. We're looking at some metal shop equipment. Sound equipment in the music spaces. Thank you, Mr. Biles. Some of that stuff is not exactly my language. He's done a lot of the legwork there. Anything else there, Ryan? Fitness area, you know, we've got a committee. It's got some community members, Mr. Bradstein. You know, you got to look at it from different viewpoints. So, you know, this would be great for the community, but how does Mr. Bradstein bring 15 kids, you know, and make that?
then how does it work for the football team?
Right, you know, all those type of things, some coaches too, so. You know, as far as phase 3, I guess I think the board has a retreat. We'd probably bring you a list of some things that we, you know, would maybe ask you to prioritize for us, you know. You know, playground being pretty high on that list, things like that, so.
Pete, as we prioritize those things, obviously, you know, first we're talking about spaces that are new because of the project, right? And then we're also getting, like media center, other places where we'll kind of go down the line, right? And that's what we're looking for from us, for prioritization.
Right, you know, so if we had a list of 10 items, you know, we might recommend 5 of them, you know, Ryan, Rob, Marcel, teachers. You know, something to consider too is like, maybe there's not another way to fund some of these things, you know, things like that, so. So, we'll be looking for some more input, that's for sure.
You had mentioned a tour.
Yep. I guess I'll open this up to everybody here. It's a pretty big group, but there shouldn't be anybody working back there after this meeting. If we want to nose around a little bit, keep your hands to yourself. Let's go do that. So, that's all I got. Questions, anybody?
Last thing I had for you too is we had a public comment form that's on our website. The Google form was updated, and Janelle and Ryan both updated that, so that's updated on our website as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Nudell. All right, moving on to recognition of visitors, public forum, and communications. I didn't know that me being board chair was going to bring this many people, so I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul. Okay. So we do have 3 individuals that did ask to give public comment. So first of all, just remember that it's limited to 5 minutes. And then be aware that disrespectful comments or comments of any personal nature directed at an individual, either by name or inference, is not allowed. So first up is going to be Dr. Wilkie.
Thank you.
Oh, and might I add, thank you for giving us the policy numbers because we're able to have those in front of us.
Yes, you are welcome. Good evening, members of the school board. My name is Dr. Misty Wilkie. I am addressing a few policies and ongoing barriers that I and at least one other community member have experienced when attempting to complete the public comment form. I submitted my form last week well in advance of the stated 10 a.m. deadline this morning. Shortly after submission, I received a response requesting additional detail beyond what was entered in the topic and brief discussion sections of the form. I responded by citing policies 206 and 603. I again received an immediate request for further detail. I complied and completed every section of the form in accordance with policy 206. I am requesting clarification on where, within policy 206, it states that members of the public are required to submit a detailed script of their remarks in advance of public comment. Additionally, when public comment does not receive a response from the board, it is unclear why such a detailed disclosure is required at all. Regarding policy 603, I have repeatedly asked about the existence and function of a district advisory committee. The response has consistently been that a committee will be considered when major curriculum purchases are made. I am unable to locate language in policy 603 that limits district advisory committee to major curriculum purchases. What I see is language emphasizing that such a committee should, to the extent possible, reflect the diversity of the district, which includes community members. Further, it is unclear why my role as a parent and community member would be solicited primarily for major curriculum purchasing decisions, particularly when my professional background is not in elementary education, where I do bring relevant expertise as a parent, community member, tribal citizen, and Indigenous nurse leader is in curriculum content related to American Indians and in strategic planning to address persistent racial achievement gaps. Turning to policy 901, the policy indicates the existence of a community education advisory council. I am requesting clarification on whether this council currently exists. I did hear it mentioned earlier, but I also wonder who's on it and how frequently it meets. At previous board meetings, I have raised concerns regarding the absence of an American Indian Parent Advisory Committee, or APAC. According to the Minnesota School Report Card, the district enrolled 11 American Indians during the 2024-2025 academic year, which that report card is still up on the website. The Minnesota Department of Education states that schools must have an APAC when 10 or more American Indian students are enrolled. I also want to clarify again that it is not prohibited to form an APAC with fewer than 10 American Indian students. When American Indian parents request support to form and participate in such a committee, it is reasonable to ask why the board has declined to support its formation. There is a clear and concerning pattern here, and I trust the board can recognize it as well. The pattern is a lack of meaningful community participation. The community does not seem to be welcomed as a partner. The repeated requests for additional information beyond what is required by policy function as a barrier to public participation and have the practical effect of discouraging or delaying community members from exercising their right to provide public comment. A district advisory committee is absent despite policy indicating one should exist. A community education advisory council is referenced in policy, but not evident in practice. And for 3 years, there has been consistent resistance to form an APAC, despite Minnesota Statute 124D.78 Subdivision 1. I hope the board will move beyond acknowledgement and toward action. Thank you.
Thank you, Missy. Second is Abby Vondel. Oh, did I say that right?
No, but no one really gets it right ever, so it's Vondel.
Vondel, thank you.
I spoke to you guys, thank you for letting me speak tonight. I'm super nervous. I actually feel like I'm gonna pass out right now, but I'm gonna continue on for my children. I was here January 12th and spoke to the board about bullying going on with my child. She was put on the bullying protection plan, and since then there's been many more situations that I pulled my daughter out on Friday. One instance was she was walking and talking to one of her friends about D.G. Montague, our creator, and the 7 girls that have been bullying her, tagging her in ice, telling her she's Dora, speaking to her in Spanish. Decided that they couldn't understand what was going on, and so on the whiteboard they decided to write "God loves you." Mr. Spiker had to get up, I don't know if I was supposed to say that. The teacher got up and he erased it, and I think that that is a form of bullying against our religious beliefs. If they can't understand it, just ask questions, and this has gone on since last year. It continues to go on, and I'm at a point where I reached out to parents. I reached out to 6 of them. 1 of them contacted me back with respect, 5 of them. 1 of them didn't even respond. I am absolutely concerned about what's going on here. I think that when I made this report, it came back to me unfounded. I'm not sure. I disagree with that, of course, because I'm a parent. I sent in over 30 screenshots, everything where they take my daughter in a TikTok that actually happened on school premises at a basketball game. There's 3 people at staff who saw these kids huddled around a phone while they take my daughter in an ice thing. Sorry, I'm nervous. Another altercation happened. It didn't happen at school, and it didn't happen with my daughter. It happened with my older daughter. 2 adults. 1 adult here was the student. There's an adult student here who is the older sibling of one of the girls that is bullying my child. Yelled at her in the hallway and told her to get out of the way. And I'm down at Mayo Clinic at this point, so I can't do anything. So last Tuesday, Elizabeth said, "I'm not coming back to school, Mom. I was moving out of the way for the lunch lady, and I got yelled at by this older senior. And I had had enough. These things keep going on. I actually have proof of her admitting in the messenger that she has been mean to Elizabeth on purpose, because she was, quote, mean to her sister. I have filed over 120 different bullying reports. Me and the principal currently have about 25 going on right now. I am no longer communicating with the principal here anymore. After the incident happened in the hallway, I called him and I was put on speaker with the police chief who was here investigating this altercation that had happened with 2 adults on Facebook. And I was told that the girls in her class are strong in their faith. Now, I don't know what that means, but to me it implies that maybe this isn't a bullying thing because they're so strong in their faith. But so are we. So are we. I would love for my daughter to come and smudge or have a jingle dress ceremony. I would love that. But we don't cram it down people's throats. And I made a Facebook post that went actually pretty big. And I didn't think it was going to be that big. Since then, I have filed formal complaints of discrimination for religious and racial with the Minnesota Department of Education. They are going to start their investigation. I have filed formal complaints against the school, the administration, with the Office of Civil Rights, the federal government, and also the Department of Human Rights. In that Facebook post that I have, 26 other families have reached out to me either in that post or separately about bullying going on here. There is something seriously wrong. And I don't want a suicide on our hands. My daughter already attempted. She's in therapy twice a week now. She wrote a letter to you guys today. And I asked for her to speak, but I'll read it for her if that's okay with you. If that's fine with you. I'm so sorry. I'm very emotional. I'm always that way. And I'm anxious.
Would it be easier for you to have us have a copy of that instead of reading
I will
it?
give you a copy and I want to read it because I want other people to hear what she's actually feeling. Letter for the school board meeting. I'm a 7th grader and I've been here since preschool. I've experienced bullying for a couple months and it's been rough. I want to stay, but you guys don't do anything to help me. I've never really been bullied this badly before, to the point of not wanting to go to school and dreading to walk into that school. If I don't want to go to school, doesn't that prove how bad it is for me? I've been bullied before and nothing has happened. All my sisters have been bullied in this school, which is horrible. Honestly, all the school needs to do better. I hope you guys can do better in general. Elizabeth Solmson in her own handwriting. You guys can have all of these things, and please start doing something about this bullying. Let's not label it unfounded. 30 screenshots is not unfounded. Tags on TikTok of ICE calling her Dora is not unfounded. This is not that. I was even speaking to the Minnesota Department of Education, my contact there, and she said if that was my kid, I'd have pulled her out right away. But I tried to go the long way. And now I have one daughter left here who loves it here. I'm just waiting for 7th grade to kick in because that seems to be where the bullying is. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Next is Sally.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sally Amont. Few of you may know me, others may not. But in 2005, I graduated from Battle Lake High School, over 20 years ago. In the span of those 20 years, I haven't really thought about Battle Lake Public School much because 3/4 of my entire school journey here, my life was made into a living gauntlet by my peers. And wondered why my teachers weren't doing anything. But tonight's not about me. I spent much time being self-absorbed in what I went through. I didn't really stop to think about what other people may have gone through the last 20 years. And that's why I'm here. Tonight I stand with Abigail Bundell and her children who have been bullied, along with any other child who's been bullied presently or in the past. Whether it has to do with ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, social status, or whatever. Disrespect of any kind is something that no one should ever have to get used to. The children are the future. As educators, you're not only responsible for filling a child's mind with knowledge and wisdom, but you're also responsible with helping to mold a child's character. Freedom of speech is supposed to be a powerful thing, a very positive thing. Freedom of speech is supposed to be a healthy exchange of ideas. dialogue, full discussion. The First Amendment protects words that persuade. It doesn't protect words that incite. How are people supposed to have a healthy exchange of ideas if one group of people's ideas are constantly being shot down? Freedom of speech is the freedom to discuss, not an excuse to be ignorant. You know, I'm a Christian too. And even though I don't have native blood, I for one feel very connected to the indigenous community. And I believe that they have a better understanding of the love of God than most Christians I know. I noticed that the Battle Lake Public School has a bullying report form on the website addressing behavioral issues like you just saw. Not good enough. Because by having something that's mediocre as that you call a lifeline, you're actually expecting bullying to happen. All you're doing is putting a Band-Aid on a wound. And instead of looking for instead of looking for a cure for the disease. And another thing, if the behavior was being addressed, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. You address the behavior by putting the fear of God into those kids. If I was a betting person, I would say that a good amount of kids here have dreams about going to universities, maybe even Ivy League schools. If I were you, I would educate their students on how they treat those around them. That knowledge often has a way of making it to the deans of the universities that they actually want to be part of, and can often be a deciding factor on whether or not they get accepted into those universities. But the good news is I believe that this is a very curable situation. And I believe that you can help cure bullying and ignorance here by reinstating the Expect Respect program that they started back in the 90s, which, to the credit, is kind of something that you're doing. I applaud you for that. Okay. The other thing is participating in the Power of One program. Many schools do it. But the first school that I personally heard of doing it is Berkeley Field Public School. And they're doing awesome. It takes a village. I'm not saying that everything I just said is going to change minds overnight, but I at least wanted to plant the seed. And God, or whatever you want to call it, has a very good track record of making the seeds grow. 20 years ago, I never would have had the confidence to stand up here and say what I'm saying now. I just know that, looking back, I would have wanted someone like me now to stand up for me as a child back then. To quote Edmund Burke, evil thrives when good men and women do nothing. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to board updates. Paul, would you like to start?
I'd love to start.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan. Quick update. Actually, not as long as I wanted to, but I was able to attend the school board convention back in January. And sometimes you go and go to like 5, 6 sessions and you get nothing. I only got to one, but that one was awesome. It was on AI, and I've gone to many other AI presentations. This one wasn't about how do we teach AI to our children, how do we stop our children from using AI. It was about how do we as a board use AI. And to not go into the whole thing, but at some point at a retreat I'll probably go through some of the highlights of it. But just for us to be prepared as board members and to embrace that technology to help us do better at the board table. It was wonderful. And then a wonderful evening spent with Mr. Goodell as well, so thank him for that. That's my update. Thank you, Paul.
Most of my updates have already been discussed, other than congratulations to BPA. They had a really successful people qualifying for state. That deserves a little congratulations, but otherwise, we've already had discussions on what I've been.
I don't have any updates.
I have a few different updates. First one is my boys went to their first wrestling meet here the other night, elementary wrestling, and I was very impressed. I've never been a wrestler, so just like embracing the mass chaos of all these little kids running around. It was good. It was. I felt like my first time was a very well-run tournament. I feel like everybody had a good time and it was a great showing. So kudos to the wrestling on that. I do have a marketing update from Janelle. I think our main point, I think I just want to make really quick on the whole marketing, and we sent you this in the email as well. I think we need to look at more of a realistic budget in mind of with what we want to accomplish. Stuff is very expensive. Even piggybacking off of what Jenny Roysum said about advertising in the paper and that kind of thing. Our 2 inserts cost $600 alone, just for the paper inserts in the paper. So I think we need to maybe figure out a more realistic budget in mind with the goals we want to attain. It's kind of the big thing, and I think we're kind of working our way to figuring that out. Otherwise, going back to what we've already spoke on, social media and recent events and kind of the negativity, engaged by that. Very unfortunate to see, all the negativity out there about our school, and hopefully we can come to a head on some of this negativity on social media and put our best foot forward with that. We've gained some followers on Facebook and Instagram. We're still looking to increase Twitter and Instagram. I think is our ultimate overall goal. I'm not going to go into a lot of statistics. You can kind of read that, maybe bring that up at our board retreat as far as our next kind of steps as a board as a whole. And still working on deliverability on emails, I believe. Janelle had stated, so as far as a lot of them are still going into spam, so we're still kind of, that's our biggest initiative, just making sure that all those land. Yeah, I mean, kind of key takeaways, I guess. We need to, which we're fixing with the spam, and increase the views on the school newsletter and the direct emails. We're going to look into, doing more of that radio and direct mail campaigns. Again, we probably need to look at a realistic budget going forward, which maybe we can have some more discussions on that on our retreat night. To tackle that. So, questions?
A couple real quick, most of mine have been said already too. So I guess shout out to BPA. Awesome to see the success as a business person. Love to see students having success in business. We had a successful basketball tournament here over the weekend, 3rd and 4th grade girls and boys. Raised a bunch of money for the Booster Club, so thanks for everybody who helped out with that. Great to see. And then I guess lastly, it's this has been probably the biggest attended board meeting I've been a part of. Appreciate everybody who came to express their support and see what's going on, and yeah, we appreciate everybody's insight. And then Eric, thank you for the support. Appreciate all you do. We're lucky to have you as part of the family, so thank you.
All right, moving on to new business. So we have financial reports, approval of bills, electronic transfers, and enrollments per grade. So we should take some time to look at the financial reports first. And if you have any questions, drop them towards Liz. Elizabeth, excuse me.
That's me, right? Response specialist, 61,800. That's the quarterly membership.
What percent has it increased?
No, That's a significant increase with that.
Okay.
That's Pittsburgh's stepped out.
There'll be some more information coming with that here in the coming months as well.
So is it just this academic year or coming up that it increased?
This academic year.
Okay, when it started.
When you purchase most of it, we have to go off.
So that they take their chunk and divide it by everybody, and that's what maybe increase.
Not yet, that's in the
So
process of
that's
litigation.
So this is gonna be worse?
No, I guess it's going to be worse. I can say our share right now is just increased because we had a bigger district we need to call it.
Just not one, it was one previous?
I don't want to say right off the top of my head.
Sure.
But look that up and let.
Yeah, that'd be great, thank you.
Not sure. But
Right.
yeah, still good enough.
Yeah, right. From a budgeting perspective, I think that would be something to keep in mind.
So Rob, if you would do a little bit of gathering too for us, just what our special co-op does for that big chunk of, as sitting as just Joe Blow here, I'm not 100% sure what we get for that. If you can just, you don't have to do it right now, but if you can put that together and send that. Yes.
And not only the specific increase, but we know what was coming after what
After
was
they
before.
left, yeah.
So we know
Yeah,
that.
okay.
And same reaction, I'm assuming, from the other districts.
We had some updates today at our meeting just about changes and numbers and percentages and all that sort of stuff. So there's more information coming.
I mean, I know that we do a lot for them, I'm not trying to say that, I just want to kind of know. That was my only question.
Right, any other discussion on bills? Do I have a motion to pay our bills this month?
I'm moving here, those are
Thank you, Paul. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Bennett. Any other?
I have one other request. That one's for you, Ryan, because you had indicated in an email to me that with our enrollment, you kind of know why everybody comes and goes. Is there a way for you to email that to us?
I can share that with the board, yes.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. School calendar for next year.
Yeah, you have a copy of the 26-27 school calendar in front of you. That has been reviewed by the teachers union. They gave some input. We made some adjustments with that. This current year, we have, I believe it's 6 half-days for REDAC stuff. This one, we've lessened that to 3 or 4. We will not be starting before Labor Day. That was a big consensus for a lot of folks. And we will be done by Memorial Day. So the student days will be 169 and a half. And will remain at 177 student days, or 177 staff days.
Only one thing jumped out to me that on September 2nd, we're going to be asking staff to be here from 8 in the morning till 7:30 at night with the open house. That's
That's what we've done in the past.
okay. Perfect.
A workshop day on a Wednesday and open house at night.
Should get a motion first.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Do we have a motion to approve the calendar for next school year?
I'm moving to approve the calendar for next year.
Thank you, Paul. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Sean. Any questions or discussion? Okay.
Want me to ask it again?
No, I think we're good. Thank you, Sean.
Again?
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Calendar passes.
All of the municipal special ed co-op was $42,400 last February.
Okay.
Where's the rate? 60, 61? So
So
it's about 75 grand a year.
Okay. Number C, Comprehensive Achievement and Civic Readiness, CARC report.
Yeah, Janelle's got that for you. It used to be called the World's Best Workforce Report. Once we have this presented to the board, we'll update our website with the The recent one is presented here. This is for the 24-25 school year. Thank you, Janelle, for putting this together and sharing today.
Is this the public meeting for community feedback for this report, or is that at a future date?
No, this is not. Well, thank you.
So the first document you're reading is the official report that gets sent to the Minnesota Department of Education. And the second one is the PowerPoint presentation that will be posted online. Just want to kind of open up, Mr. Nadal already mentioned it, that this report was previously known as the World Best Workforce Report, so that's currently what it's posted under on our website now. Once this comes, if the board approves this particular report tonight, then it'll get updated to the CACR on our website. Also want to note that the information in this report is from the 24-25 data, okay? So looking back at previous data, and this data is collected from multiple people within the building. So my role is to collect data and accurately report that data to MDE, okay? So moving forward, the collection of the data will be done earlier in the year. So the process will start in September, and then my hope is to present at that October meeting, so we can get board feedback earlier in the year, and then meet that MDE deadline in December. Questions so far? So looking at the 24-25 data, broke out by specific SMART goals. First goal was all students ready for school, and we did meet that goal. The information is in the report for you. I won't read that out loud. Closing the achievement gaps between student groups. The goal was not met in that category, so room for improvement there. All students ready for career and college, that goal was met. All students graduate, also met. And all students prepared to be lifelong learners, we are on track with a multi-year goal there. The percentages are there for you. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you, Janelle.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
There's nothing to circuit board action, it's just want to get posted there so we can see.
So we don't need to- All right, D, student representative for the next school year.
I met with Connor today, and his term really expires in June, right, for the end of this fiscal year. And we need to look at getting a new rep on the school board. Something we talked about in the past, bringing that forward, looking at that process, what we wanted to do. So we need to start that process, and we can go from there. So if you've got thoughts or input or ideas, in the past, we've reached out and asked for applications.
Yeah.
Like we did last year.
Yeah.
I think that was fun.
Okay. Just to announce it to all juniors.
So again, Mr. Severson, start that process to getting a rep, and we'll bring somebody back probably to the March or April meeting, and they can attend with Connor for a meeting or two, and then move forward there. Does that work?
So someone needs to make a motion on what the action is going to be in that. Sheila, do you mind making that?
No, not at all. All right, ask my question again, too? No, just kidding. Yeah, I would make a motion that we reach out for applications from students who are interested in being a student rep. They are seniors, so that they can, for them.
So this year's juniors.
Yeah, this year's juniors.
Yeah.
For next year's juniors.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bennett. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Strategic plan options.
So you gave me the charge at our December and January meeting to look at some strategic plan options. Our 5-year plan comes to fruition here in June. You've got a couple options there in front of you. MSBA did the one here 5 years ago. Gail Gilman from MSBA is interested in helping us again. Also have a quote for you from True North. Both of those places said they could start a brand new strategic plan for you. It was recommended by both that maybe we just do a refresh of what we've got, update and move forward from there. There's a difference in cost. Obviously, if we do a refresh as opposed to a fresh one and a brand new one, something we could start in April or May. Just need some ideas from you. You've got the two proposals in front of you, or probably three of them, because we had 2 from True North, a full 1 refresh, and then also from MSBA. If you're looking for any insider guidance, I would recommend you to MSBA when they did ours before, and we're on top of that, and I heard that went really, really well.
And are we looking for a refresh or a redo?
That's up to you.
In my opinion, I would say redo. I think maybe.
It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
I would say a redo as well.
So if I'm reading it right, the refresh is 4,500, the redo would be 8,500 with MSBA?
8 or 8,500, I forget the exact number. I think with True North it was 8,500, I think MSB was about 8. They're really close to the same price.
Within 500.
She said she would do for us,
Yes.
Neil through MSB would do either one.
MSB was 85.
But also,
True
okay.
North was 9.
For a redo, True North says 9,000 plus expense and travel, if there's any chart compensation for that. And MSB's was 8,000. They did a lot virtual, so there wouldn't be any of that travel.
Has anybody worked with True North before?
So I've gone through a strategic plan with both of these, and I actually prefer True North, but it's a little biased because of the one we went to with MSP. The last one we did was through COVID. It was a lot virtual. It was very difficult. In fact, we were very new to masking, so everybody it was a difficult communication. So
And True North was out of,
They're the Alexandria area.
okay.
They do a lot of work with Lakes Country Service Cooperative. You know, there's a couple other districts.
yeah, that's where I've gone through. Yeah.
Okay,
They did it
so
for.
we've never used them here.
Correct.
They come recommended highly from Jeremy at Lakes Country. They do a lot of work with districts in the
They're
area.
not great. But both are very comprehensive, so we'll be fine either way.
Jeff Wilson is a retired superintendent that works there, and also Terry Quest, who's retired from Alexandria. Those are 2 of the lead people with that.
So I'm looking for a motion on the direction we're going to go with this.
So we just first ask her where we want to do a new one, not just a refresh. Is that what we're hearing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we need to do that.
Okay.
I have no experience with either, so would defer to the group as to who we think is better.
Paul, would you like to make a motion? It looked like you were going, it looked like I could see your.
Actually, I'll make a motion that we go through North for a full refresh.
Not
Full strategic plan.
Do I have a second to go with True North for a full comprehensive plan?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? Oh, thank you, Ben. Any discussion on that?
And like I said, I think it's almost a coin flip. I do think it was a better process. They'll be here a little bit more in person. They follow through. I think just it was a little more personal process when I got to them before.
When would we start?
I will talk to them and see when they're able. I'm assuming we would start up in April.
Yes,
You didn't have any plan for summer, did you? Sean?
Looking forward to this.
Do you think we could take it out like Sandbar or something?
See if they work on the fund. or something.
Yeah. Well, they are flexible. I would say the other piece of this is, they'll put the calendar together as soon as we set that start date. It's comprehensive, but it's not all like one thing, so they spread it out.
Can I ask what it kind of looks like? I don't.
Yeah, so
I've never been through it.
the process I went through was probably a 3 or 4 month process where it was, like an hour or so, like before a meeting, we meet and,
Okay.
and it's not just us, it's bringing community members in, gathering that information, and then we kind of broke into groups as we kind of figured out how we're going to move forward with, what our priorities were as a district.
Right, so I have a motion, I have a second. Any other discussion on that? All right, not seeing any. So all those in favor of going to True North for a full comprehensive strategic plan, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries. All right, facilities usage and fees, policy 902, addendum.
Yeah, so we had our policy committee, or not our policy, our facilities committee, Jonathan Bennett and Paul, meet a few times, and thanks to Chris and Pete and Ryan, and Dave, just looking at policy usage and that sort of piece. Wanted to update ours, and then we talked about this at our last retreat that we had. So there's a recommendation from that committee, looking at facility usage, fees, equipment, that sort of piece.
I will say when we did this, I mean, obviously sitting down and talking with Chris and Dave and Pete, really kind of clarifying what has been working, what has been headaches, what hasn't been working, and tried to just clean things up.
That was good, but are we just attaching it with policy then, so we don't need to approve today?
We're looking to approve this piece that will be part of the policy.
I'll make a motion that we accept the 902 addendum.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Bennett. Any further discussion on that?
Yeah, I'll just tag on what you said, Jonathan. You know, it was a good process. Thank you to the people who actually have to use this policy that helped us kind of mold it. We know it's not perfect yet, but at least we have something down and it will be good for us to go through it. Hopefully we haven't caused any harm.
I think it took longer than we anticipated.
Yeah, I thought
Thought it'd be real quick and easy.
for my first meeting of the facilities committee for over a year, it's like, oh, okay, this is a lot more than I expected, but it was good, really good, so thank you.
All right, all those in favor of the facilities usage policy, say aye.
Aye.
All same sign. That addendum carries. State BPA overnight.
Yeah, congratulations to Janelle and 24 students qualifying for the state BPA March 5th through the 7th. Looks like travel's lined up with Brad and Evansville to go together with them, as that was the last I heard.
Yes.
And we're just looking, maybe it's an overnight to get board approval. Anything else I missed, Janelle?
Nope. I have a chaperone lined up. We're taking Heart Travel, sharing that transportation cost with Brandon Evansville. Yeah.
I like to say that BPA has been very open and honest with us as advisors.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
you know, the hotel is shut down.
Yeah, it's in a fully
Kids are not
closed.
leaving. They have to
Yep.
have their lanyards on the whole time.
They've
Yeah.
brought in additional security. We will be in downtown Minneapolis at the Hyatt. That's our contracted venue for state, but it's a fully closed campus. So once in, you will not leave. If students leave, they will be expected to go home. So additional security has been hired by both the Hyatt and Minnesota BPA. So, yep, and they've been very, very open.
Forthcoming with all that information.
Yes, forthcoming
And
with,
updates on that.
yep, the student safety is their #1 priority. So Carolee is my chaperone for the trip if it's approved. So I will have another adult there. So a 1 adult to 12 student ratio.
And the students attending are missing.
They will miss school Thursday, Friday.
Right, okay.
So I'm looking for a motion to approve the.
I move we approve the BPA travel.
Thank you, Paul. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Bennett. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The overnight carries. Right, upcoming meetings. Regular board meeting on March 9th and regular board meeting April 13th. And you said we meet and confer
5 o'clock on the 9th.
5 o'clock on the night.
Are we going to add a retreat?
Yes, we need to add retreats.
Seems like we're retreating a lot, which is good.
So as far as the retreat goes, we're talking about kicking out the strategic plan, which sometimes is that kind of thing too, so not knowing when they will, what they're going to do.
Should we have our retreat the same night as our opening kickoff with the strategic plan? Check with them and see what they feel like.
I think we have too much to discuss in my opinion.
Yeah. So mine was more like a conflict of,
Do it
like we
sooner.
have to do it sooner.
Do it sooner. Do we want to try to get it in February or right at the beginning of March?
The retreat?
Yes.
I mean,
That's a question, us.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
we're going to be inundated with the strategic plans.
Yes, exactly.
How about February 25th? It's a Wednesday night.
I'm not available Wednesdays. Maybe the 23rd or the 24th.
I can do the 23rd.
23rd.
How about the 23rd for everybody? Monday?
Evening.
What time are we looking at, 5 o'clock? 6:30?
5 is hard for Ashley, isn't it?
I don't remember.
Is that why we move meetings to 6?
Yeah, well,
It's tougher.
She said she could make it here.
she can hear it.
Do we want to do 5:30?
That would be.
Not sure if that matters, but I am not available that night as my daughter's hockey banquet. But I don't need to be there. It's up to you guys.
You can zoom in, right?
Yeah.
From the dinner table,
Yeah.
the award ceremony.
I think everybody will know what's going on.
How about a location?
So this is Monday, February 23rd?
Yes.
This is tentative? At 5:30?
Yep,
Yeah, at the bank, if possible. You'll let us know, Rob, if that works.
sure.
Start at 5:30?
Yep.
I move that we have a retreat on Monday, March 23rd, 5:30. I determined that.
February.
February 23rd, 5:30.
February 23rd.
5:30, bank is available.
Yep.
Okay,
I'll
Sheila?
second.
Thank you, Sheila. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Close same sign. David,
Could you please email me this week any agenda items, just so I can get things moving with that?
can we flip that? Can you email us what you have and then we can add?
Sure.
Is that, yeah,
I'll do that. If
yep. All right, with nothing else on the agenda, this meeting